Is the 2026 NBA draft going to be the best NBA draft class of all time? A lot of people are really hyping this up. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Let's Talk Bulls podcast. My name is Corey. So, as we all know, tomorrow is the big day, 2026 NBA draft, and a lot of people are hyping this NBA draft up. They're saying that this could possibly be the best NBA draft class ever, or pretty much up there. And my thoughts on that is that I hope it's true. They're saying that Darren Peterson, AJ Dybantsa, Cam Boozer, and Caleb Wilson can all change the course of a franchise, can be the face of whatever franchise they end up getting drafted by. That's 4 straight players: Darren Patterson, AJ Dybantsa, Cameron Boozer, and Caleb Wilson. So we'll see. I hope the best for them. Now, an interesting statistic that I found on that, and I would read it out to you guys, but I'm driving. If you go on the internet, if you Google every single NBA draft class it's ever been, for the most part, let's just say you go back to the Jordan year, 1984. Maybe even later than that, 1990. If you go between 1984 and up into the present day, an interesting trend that I found is that throughout the course of NBA history, and you guys can check me on this if I'm wrong. You can do the legwork on your own. When you get time, go on Google and look at all the top 4 NBA draft picks in NBA history. Anyway, when you look at those top 4 picks, it is extremely rare that you see all 4 of those top 4 picks really become the face of that franchise. And what I mean by that is, you stay with the franchise for a good 7 to 10 years. Everybody knows you as being a part of that franchise. Everybody knows that you made that franchise, that you were that dude on that franchise. It's very rare. It's extremely rare. Even in the Jordan, even with the Jordan draft and even with the LeBron James draft. Those are the 2 drafts that a lot of people say are the best 2 drafts in NBA history. So when you look at the Jordan draft, okay, so you've got Hakeem Olajuwon, you've got Michael Jordan, you've got Sam Bowie. He didn't work out. I forget who was the 4th person in that mix. You've got the LeBron James draft. Obviously, LeBron James went number 1. Number 2, Darko Milicic. Number 3, goodness, who was that? Dwayne Wade. I think number 4 was Chris Bosh, I believe. But all throughout the course of NBA history, when you look at those top 4 picks, it's never been a case, unless tomorrow proves us different. Well, it's going to take some years to see that. But there's literally never been a case where those top 4 picks have went on to become the face of that franchise. Now, of course, you hold on to optimism, and that's obviously why the teams draft the players, right? Because they see those players to be players that can drastically change the course of their franchise, if not become, well, really more so become the that franchise's franchise player, or at least become one of those franchise players. So what I've seen looking at the history of the NBA draft in regards to the top 4 picks, you see a lot of solid contributors. A lot of people who come in and they contribute to teams and make an impact in that way. But the way that they're hyping up this 2026 NBA draft, they're hyping it up. And again, I hope that this happens. I hope the best for them. But they're hyping this 2026 draft up as if all 4 of these players, pick number 1, pick number 2, pick number 3, pick number 4, are all going to be franchise superstar players. Which, if that happens, that will be the first time in NBA history that has ever happened, with the top 4 picks back to back in the NBA draft have gone on to become not just role players, not just contributors on the team, but superstar players that changed the course of their franchise. I think the closest that we've seen to that is, the Jordan draft and the LeBron draft, because obviously LeBron James came in and changed the NBA. Dwayne Wade, one of the best NBA players ever. Carmelo Anthony, one of the best NBA players ever. Now here we go with this trend that I peeped right here, okay? Now, Darko Milicic was number 2. That didn't work out, as we all know. With the Jordan draft, obviously Hakeem Olajuwon, one of the best players ever. Michael Jordan, best player of all time. Sam Bowie didn't work out well. I forget who that fourth person was. Forgive me, you guys. But yeah, that's been the common trend for decades upon decades in the NBA. We've never seen 4 straight players go top 4 and all just totally change the teams that they go to in a good way. We've never seen that. So my concern, I guess you would say, with this draft tomorrow is that more than likely, if you want to follow trends, you look at how the NBA has been trending for the last several decades. When you look at that, that's never happened before. So what that's telling me, and again, I hope the best for all 4 of those first 4 players that get drafted. But what that's telling me when I look at the draft history is that it is highly likely that 1, 2, maybe even 3 of these top 4 guys that are going to go tomorrow are not going to be what a lot of people expect them to be. And it doesn't mean that they're going to be terrible players. But I can assure you, though, I'm pretty sure that one of these 4 players, maybe even 2 or 3, like I say, with the Jordan draft and with the LeBron draft. I mean, we saw LeBron, one of the greatest ever. Dwayne Wade, superstar. Chris Bosh, superstar player. The Jordan draft. Hakeem Olajuwon, one of the best ever. Jordan, the greatest ever. Superstar players, out of those top 4 picks. So if the trend is going to continue, that means that at most 2 to 3 of these 4 players that are going to be selected top 4 tomorrow in the 2026 NBA draft are going to end up being superstar players. And that's if they live up to the comparison of being compared to being one of the top draft classes in NBA history. Because that's the cream of the crop right there, the Jordan draft and the LeBron draft. Okay? So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. So with the Bulls in particular, I really hope that with the Bulls, because it's looking like the Bulls are going to select Caleb Wilson. That's the player that I believe that they're going to take. I like his energy. I like his game. I like his skills. He seems to have interest in Chicago as well. But the thing that gets me with the Bulls, I just hope that this is not another Tyrus Thomas type situation. Okay? Remember when we had the number 2 pick in that draft many years ago, and we selected LaMarcus Aldridge, solid player. I really wasn't that into him back then either, to be honest with you. I mean, I've never really been into players like that. I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge, don't get me wrong, very skilled and all of those good things. Now, when the Bulls made that trade, they selected Tyrus Thomas. I think it was like the 4th or 5th pick. I was like, okay, it seems like Tyrus Thomas has more upside. He's more athletic. He seems to have more passion that he plays with, in regards to the game of basketball. It seems like he's playing with more passion, more energy, more desire, and all of those good things. Which that's what Tyrus Thomas was when he came to the Bulls. Very energetic player. Come in and get you some blocks every now and then. He gives you a highlight dunk and all of those good things. So that's what he was on the Bulls. But where Tyrus Thomas lacked that in comparison to LaMarcus Aldridge was the whole skill set. LaMarcus Aldridge had the Tim Duncan package basically. He had the footwork, the post game, the fundamentals. He can come in and get you 22 to 25 points a game, 10 plus rebounds, get you a couple of assists. Not the most athletic, not the most energetic, and all of that stuff. He's not gonna be like he wasn't like a super highlight reel type player. And the reason why I mention that is because it reminds me of Cam Boozer. Like right now, I'm not really that interested. I'm not really that sold on Cam Boozer, to be honest with you. That's just me. I think he's a great player though, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I just don't know about Cam Boozer. I just don't know. But it reminds me of when the Bulls traded, like I said, they traded Tyrus Thomas for LaMarcus Aldridge. I just hope that the Bulls don't do something like that this time. So even though I have more interest in Caleb Wilson now, if Cam Boozer is that guy, he's just gonna be that guy. So we'll see what the Bulls end up doing. But that is a very interesting statistic right there. I've never seen the top I don't think the NBA has ever seen the top 4 picks in the NBA draft all become superstar players. Like, even when you look at the Zion Williamson trade, draft, you have obviously Zion Williamson with number 1, Ja Morant number 2, number 3 who was that? R.J. Barrett. Was Patrick Williams in that draft? If I'm not mistaken, I think he. Who was number 4 in that year? I think it was Patrick Williams. But anyway, you guys get what I mean, though. So Zion Williamson. I mean, I'm not gonna say that he was a bust. It's just injuries, whatever he's got going on in his personal life. But Zion, I feel like he's a star player, not a superstar player. Ja Morant used to be a superstar player. I don't know what his deal is. He had the whole gun situation going on and stuff like that. The last couple of years haven't been good for him. He's had a lot of injuries and things. R.J. Barrett, solid player. He had a solid year this year with the Toronto Raptors, but you don't look at R.J. Barrett as the franchise player. Not even number 2. Zion Williamson, you still kind of hold out hopes for him. Ja Morant is kind of in that same boat, but that's kind of iffy, though. You see what I mean, though. Those were the top 3 players in the draft, and you can't even look at it. What year was that? 2020. It's 5 to 6 years later. You can't even look at those top 3 players and comfortably say, you know what? Zion Williamson, I want him to lead my team. Ja Morant, I want him to lead my team. R.J. Barrett, I want him to lead my team. Not even his number 2 players, really, to be honest with you. I think it would be hard for somebody to say, okay, I'm building a contender. I want Zion to be not my first option, but my second. I want Ja Morant to be not my first, but my second. I want R.J. Barrett to be my not my first, but my second. I don't even think we can say that right now. This is only 5-6 years later. I think that was the 2020. I believe that was the 2020 draft or 2019, one of the two. So it just goes to show you, it's really rare. And those top 4 picks that you are going to find a superstar player, it's rare. Now, I think a lot of times people's minds just go to, okay, well, they had the Jordan draft, you had the LeBron draft. 3 out of the 4 of the top 4 people became superstars. Well, that was those drafts. Now, people are hyping this one up. I don't know. I see skilled players, but I don't know if I necessarily see superstar talent. I don't really know. ESPN, they make reports about Darren Patterson and his ability to stay healthy and his ability to not load manage and things like that. I don't know if that's even true about him. Who knows? But it's going to take some years to see. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping the best for this draft. I hope that whoever the Bulls select can be that star player. But we definitely need a leader on this team. Now, I will say this, though. Now, and this may sound funny, but it's the truth. When you look through NBA history, you may have a higher chance of finding a star player or borderline star player, possibly even a superstar player, later on in the first round of the draft, possibly even in the second round of the draft. I mean, you seen Jokic, he did it. I forgot what pick he was, but he was picked in the second round. Jimmy Butler, when the Bulls picked him, he was the last pick. He was the last pick of the first round in that year. He was picked number 30. And he ended up being a star player. I mean, really, for a few years, Jimmy Butler was a superstar player. He led the Miami Heat to the finals 2 years in a row. So, you see what I'm saying there? So the chances are higher when you select later on in the draft. If you're going to look at over the course of NBA history, NBA draft history, you have a higher chance of getting a superstar player kind of in the middle of the first round, at the top of the first round, those top 15, 20 picks or so. So just an interesting little thing that I noticed. So we'll see. We'll see if the Bulls end up trading up. See if they end up trading the number 15 pick. Maybe packaging that with some of the players on the team and just moving up in the draft. I think that would be a good move by the Bulls. But even if they stay at 15, I think that's a good move too. But but we'll see. I think out of everybody in the top 4, though, I think that AJ Dybantsa has the best chances at being a superstar player. I would love for Caleb Wilson to start to turn into that type of player, like a superstar player or a star player. But I'm just not. Just don't know. I don't know. I don't know about Cam Boozer either. I mean, he seems like he's going to be a solid player. A lot of those Duke players, if you notice, they come in and oftentimes they're high draft picks. Like what's his name, Wendell Carter when he was on the Bulls. It's a bunch of other Duke players I can name too, but I can't think of them off the top of my mind. But oftentimes, a lot of Duke players get drafted really high up, and they don't live up to that potential. So that's another one of my concerns for Cameron Boozer. A lot of Duke players get hurt, a lot of them get injured, and I hope that that's not the case with him. You look at a lot of former Duke players that went to the NBA, and don't get me wrong, they do solid. Jason Tatum just won a title a couple years ago with the Celtics. Kyrie Irving won a title with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Shane Battier, he won one with Miami Heat. But the thing that I have with Duke players, and I really hope that this trend doesn't continue because it's really unfortunate. And health is no joke. You want everybody to be healthy and be able to play as close to 82 games per season as they possibly can. But when you look at Duke players' history, the Bulls draft Elton Brand. Now, for the most part, as far as I can remember, when the Bulls had Elton Brand, he was pretty healthy. Okay? Fast forward a little bit, when he's with the Clippers, he starts to get hurt. And it's not just missing a game here or there. He's missing chunks of games, 20 games, 30 games, 40 games. You look at Jahlil Okafor, same thing. I think, was he number one? Was he the number 1 pick in the draft? I forget. Let's look at Jahlil Okafor. He had a lot of hype coming out of college. Great player. He gets drafted by the Philadelphia 76ers. He doesn't live up to his potential, unfortunately. A lot of injuries. Wendell Carter Jr. with the Bulls. Even when the Bulls drafted him, I'm like, okay, solid guy. Seemed like a pretty fundamental guy, a team-oriented guy, and all of those good things. Pretty skilled. I'm like, man, he go to Duke though, man. And Duke, a lot of times those players are dealing with injuries. I don't know what it is with Duke and injuries. And again, it's not like I'm missing 1 or 2 games here. Like, nah, it's like you're missing 10, 15 games at a time, 20, 30 games at a time. I'm pretty sure if you look at Wendell Carter's games played throughout the course of his career, like any of these players that I'm mentioning, you'll see it in their stats. I'm not just making this up. Even with and again, I'm not saying that I'm happy about this or wishing this on anybody because, like I say, I take my health seriously. I don't want to be injured or anything like that. But even with Pablo Banchero on Orlando, I believe he went to Duke. If I'm not mistaken, I think this whole this last year, he was injured for like half the season. Grant Hill, one of the best players ever. He had some solid seasons. He had some fantastic seasons in Detroit. Went to Orlando, now he's injured. Career is never the same. Zion Williamson, great player, always injured, always something going. And like I said, it's not most players are gonna miss a game or 2 here. At least like 3 to 5 games out the year or something like that. Okay, things happen. But the reason why I'm putting emphasis on the Duke players is that oftentimes they're not missing just 1 or 2 games. They're missing 20, 30, 40, 50, the whole season. What's his name from Jabari Parker? He was like number 1 or number 2 pick some years ago. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. A lot of injuries got to him as well. He had a fantastic rookie season. And unfortunately, injuries got to him. And again, there's no knock on these players. Fantastic players. It's just that things happen, injuries happen, and things like that. Just some unfortunate things. But much respect to them. Not taking anything away from their skill set and their profession. I like to keep it professional on here and respectful. You know what I mean? But I'm trying to think. It's been some other Duke players as well. Kyrie Irving. I think he started missing. Yeah, he was missing games while he was at Duke. You know, he only played a handful of games. He missed the whole last season. I think he got a torn ACL with what team is he on now? The Dallas Mavericks. See what I'm saying? Jason Tatum. So that's my thing with Duke players. So I don't know about Cam Boozer. Even his pops. Unfortunately. Carlos Boozer went to Duke. Excuse me. Even, if I'm not mistaken, when he used to play with Cleveland, with LeBron, very healthy. I mean, he was a very dependable guy. That was a really good 1-2 tandem right there. Carlos, I don't know if y'all remember that, but Carlos Boozer and LeBron, that was nice. Even when he got with Darren Williams in Utah, that was nice too. Came to the Bulls. He was dependable. He's a solid player. You know, started getting little knick-knack injuries, missing games here and there, and that followed him throughout the rest of his career. Just being injured, you know, half the time almost. Luol Deng with the Bulls, injured a lot of times. Chris Duhon. I mean, these are just names off the top of my head here. If I really sat down and thought about this for some time and wrote it down on paper, I could come up with a lot of players that miss a lot of time through injuries that used to go to Duke. It's just unfortunate, you know? So, anyway, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Let's Talk Bulls podcast. My name is Corey. Let's see what the Bulls do tomorrow. Make sure you guys leave a comment. Who do you think that the Bulls are going to draft? Who do you want them to draft? Who do you think has the most upside in this draft? Then another question I would ask is, when it's all said and done, I want to say 5 to 7 years from now, where we can really evaluate this draft. I'll probably even say 3 to 5 years from now. After 3 to 5 years from now, who do you think is going to say from this draft, from the top 4? The top 4. Who do you think is going to be that guy? Who do you think is going to be the best out of these top 4 picks that they're talking about? Caleb Wilson? Do you think it'll be AJ Dybantsa? Darren Patterson? Or Cam Boozer? I'm thinking AJ Dybantsa. That's what I'm thinking. So, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys for tuning in and checking out this episode. Peace out. Have a good one. I'm headed up to the gym again. Get this workout in. I'm trying to stay healthy out here, y'all. Peace out. Have a good one.